Hello, today we're going to look at the Lesson 5 problem set. So, just going to get started here. I'm going to use a black marker to go over these. So, on number 1, you were supposed to find the difference of each number and 4. The first row is done for you. So, we're going to put 2 minus 4, which would be 2 plus negative 4. And the sum, or the answer here, is negative 2. So then we'll do write what we have, and then subtract 4. Negative 6 minus 4. Oh no. There we go. And we have 1 minus 4, which is 1, plus the opposite of 4 is negative 4, giving me negative 3. And you had a number line to help you with that. So, moving on to number 2. You and your partner were playing the integer game in class. Don't we wish? Here are the cards in both hands, your hand and your partner's hand. Find the value of each hand. Who would win? Okay, so here I have negative 10, and then I have 7. That's how I like to do it, is put all my negatives together, then put all my positives together. At any rate, your hand is negative 3. Partner's hand, negative 12, and then 11. So the difference, when I combine that, I've got negative 1. Okay, so who would win? The partner is closer to 0. Okay. Find the value of each hand if you discarded the negative 2. So if that wasn't here, and I selected a 5, okay, so that would be 11, 12 positives, 5, 11, 12, and then 8 negatives. So together, my hand, this is my work, my hand would be 4, and the partner, no, they did something different. They discarded their negative 5, and then they added positive 5. So now they have 9, 10, 11. 11 plus 5 is they have 16 positives and 7 negatives, which would be positive 9. So it's to find the value, okay? Use your scores for part B to determine who would win the game now. So, based on that, I would win now, because 4 is closer to 0 than 9. Okay, fabulous. Now we're just going to work these out with a simple integer answer. 2 negatives, 16 positives. So that's going to give me 14 positives. Okay, I'm going to rewrite this as negative 2 plus the opposite of negative 16. The opposite of negative 16 is 16. It's also 14. I'm going to rewrite this. 18 plus the opposite of 26 is negative 26. I have different signs. I'm going to subtract. I get 8, and I have more negatives, so negative 8. Rewrite this, negative 14 plus negative 23. I'm visualizing a number line. I'm going left and left some more. So I'll end up at the left, and I'm going to have to do some side work, and that's your response there. Finally, this one, I have 30 plus the opposite of negative 45 is 45, and that's 75. Okay, explain what is meant by the following and illustrate with an example. Whew. For any real numbers, p and q, p minus q equals p plus negative q, or the opposite of q. Okay, so that means that adding the opposite is the same as subtracting. Okay, and here's an example.
Could a custodian please unlock the gate?
Okay, 3 minus 2. Okay, I know that's 1. I could rewrite it as 3 plus the opposite of 2, and 3 plus negative 2 is still 1. So, there's that one. Final page. Choose an integer between negative 1 and negative 5 on the number line. So, between negative 1 and negative 5. So, integer needs to be a whole number. Let's pick negative 3. Okay, so negative 3. Label it point P. Okay. Locate and label the following points on the number line. P minus 5. So here's P. From 0, I would go P. Okay, and then minus 5, so left 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and that is negative 5. So this point is point A, and that's negative 8. Okay, point B, P minus 4. So here's P minus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, minus 4, and then plus 4. So I end up at P, which in this case is negative 3. Your final answer depends on what you picked for P. So I'll make a table here in a minute and show what the answers would be if you picked a different P, a different value for P. Okay, so here is P. So the opposite of P, if this is P, is negative 3. Then the opposite of P is 3. Okay, so this is negative P, or opposite of P. The opposite of P minus negative 7. I'm going to rewrite that as plus 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that was the opposite of P plus 7 gave me 10. Okay, so I'm going to pause this and I'm going to make a table that shows all of your potential answers. So here's the table for possible answers for number 5. So I selected negative 3 for P. So the first point A there on the paper was negative 8. Then the next one was negative 3, then 10. So that's how you read this. Whatever you picked, and it told you to pick between negative 1 and negative 5. So whatever you picked, see if those are the answers that you got. Now, moving on to number 6. Here's this. Pause it if you need to check yourself, and then replay it. So number 6. Write 2 equivalent expressions that represent the situation. What is their difference in elevation? Okay, an airplane flies at an altitude 26,000 feet. A submarine dives to a depth of 700 feet below sea level. So if you think about this as like a vertical number line, here's 0, the airplane is up here at 26,000 feet, the submarine is at negative 700. So what's the distance between the two? That's what it's asking. What is the difference in their elevations? So what you would really need to do is take this amount, 26,000, and this amount, the distance there, the absolute value, is 700. And then you would get 26,700 feet, the difference in their elevation. And you can put the comma there to make it nice and readable. Okay, moving on. Determine whether each of these has a positive, negative, or zero, and explain your reasoning. So I'm going to get my Post-its back out. First of all, I need a measurement of -2. So starting here, left, -2. Okay. So A minus 2. A minus 2. Whoa. Here's A minus 2. That's going to be negative. A minus B. Okay, so let's measure B. Here's B, but I'm subtracting it, so it's going to go left. I'm going to go A minus B. There is A minus B, which is negative. B minus A. A. So if I start at B, since I'm subtracting A, I'll go. So look, here's A. A is a negative number. That's A. So subtracting it is doing the opposite. B opposite A. So that's A, so I need to do the opposite of it because I'm subtracting. So this right here is B minus A. That's positive. A minus A. Okay, so here's A. So to subtract A, I go opposite A. A, opposite A. A, opposite A. 0. Okay. Here's a -2. Okay, so A opposite -2, which is here. Yeah. A opposite -2. You can also think of that as A plus 2. So let's think about it that way for just a moment. A, this is -2, plus 2. Because the sign just changes the direction. At any rate, let's see, A minus -2 ended up in positive territory. So, the reasoning I went over verbally. I'm not going to write that down. I think your reasoning should include something about distance, maybe, and direction. Distance and direction from your starting point. All right. Fabulous.